Something I have always liked to do is raise the bar in any area I'm involved in. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's buying a building and fixing it up and making it look like the best building in the neighborhood, or I don't care if it's having a business and having the best business possible, the best culture, the best foundation for the business, the best way to run the business. I just enjoy raising the bar and setting the bar to set the pace for everyone else. I love that, because in my world of heating and air conditioning, we set the pace and people follow us, and it's very obvious. My wife just sent me something the other day. It was a 30-second commercial that she took video of on her phone, sent it to me. And it was another company trying to be as close as they possibly could without making it too obvious of copying us. I mean, it was so obvious to us. Everybody here that watched it just shook their head and laughed. I mean, like, these people, they can't come up with their own ideas. I mean, and I used to get upset with that, but I don't care anymore, because I'm like, hey, I hope I'm helping you, because what you did before you did something that we do sucked anyway. So I hope I raise your bar. I hope I raise your bar, because I set the pace. So that's what we're talking about today. Raise the bar, set the pace. And this is for entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur, someone who owns a business or has the drive to start a business, who lead anywhere from 5 to 5,000 people. Okay? Most companies don't do 5,000. There's a few that do 500, but many people lead 5 to 50 that are watching this show or listening to this show. And the way we live our values, publicly and privately, matters. It matters. And we prioritize, and that gets us noticed. And what we tolerate gets repeated. So what we prioritize gets noticed, and what we tolerate gets repeated. Leadership is not about position. It's about example. What example do you leave? What example do you show others? So that's what we're talking about today. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Okay, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to that next level, whatever that level looks like, and ultimately follow those dreams you have. And if you don't have dreams, you're going to be very disappointed in another year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Got to have dreams. So segment number 1 here is our priorities become our people's priorities. So what we find important, our team will find important. What we find important, sometimes our customers will find important, because we can influence someone on a sales call and tell people something they've never heard from any other company they got an estimate from, and we sell the job. So our priorities became their priority. Now they have to have it. And our action speaks louder than our mission statement. That's pretty cool. If you claim, which I do, faith, family, business, but live business, 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 everyone will see that. If you say you're a Christian and you make people work on Sundays, and I'm not just talking emergencies, people will see that and they'll wonder, I thought Christians observed the Sabbath day. And we can argue all day long. Is Saturday the Sabbath day or Sunday? I don't care. Pick one. For me, it's Sunday. But people will see that. Your team will see that. People follow what you model. Very important. If you value relationships, so will they. If you take care of people, so will they. If you chase only money, very few today will chase money, but they will resent the fact that you do. And now you're pushing them to work too hard because it's all about the money. Let me tell you something, folks. We know sometimes it is all about the money. In order to pay the bills to your supplier, you've got to have money. In order to keep the lights on, you've got to have money. And I have gotten so, in 35 years, at times, I have gotten so low that we were pushing very hard to bring in money. That's the facts. If you're not in business, you can't comprehend this. That's the facts. Got to have money. Now, hopefully, today we've built a solid foundation for a very successful business. We're not getting that low anymore where we're pushing real hard for just money. We're pushing real hard for people to just take care of people. You take care of people, the money always comes anyway. But leadership is about modeling the right pace while you're on the right path. And we must know our team because each generation's different. If you don't know that, you need to learn that. There are multiple. We serve, I think, 5 generations today, and they all think different. And if your sales team are not familiar with the generations, they need to be, because you cannot sell the same way to all 5 generations. It doesn't work that way. I'm not going to sell to a 90-year-old, very healthy 90-year-old, still owns their home, very nice home. I am not going to sell them based on 0% financing or the smart thermostat or this kind of system. It's totally different. Totally different. Now, anything in the younger generation, some couple in their 20s that own their house, man, they're all about those things. They're all about, you better push it. You push it hard. Number 2, values aren't what you say, they're what you tolerate. You thought I was going to say what you do, because they're that too, but it's what you tolerate. Real values are revealed in what you, as the owner, allow to happen. If you tolerate poor attitudes and mediocre work, then that becomes your culture. And that's what you're known for. If you sell everything at the cheapest possible price, thinking you're making money and thinking you're getting work, that's your culture. I met a contractor yesterday who was doing work for me at another business I own. So they said, hey, I work for one of your competitors. I said, he's not our competitor. But anyway, he said, what I do is I go in after they have screwed up. Basically, he said they make a ton of mistakes. They have a lot of accidents. They go through a lot of ceilings. They have a lot of brain dumps. And he goes, I'm making a ton of money fixing their mistakes. I got a kick out of that. I had to share it with 5 people here at McAfee. Because that's what I expected from this company. They're real fast growing. They think they got it all down. They do have a very high EBITDA from what I've heard, but they're not known for their ethical, moral ways at all. If that's what you want, go for it. So I want you to know this. Avoiding hard conversation is what we call leadership avoidance. You're avoiding your leadership. And early in my career, letting small things slide, which I learned not to do, created a lot of problems. So the lesson is, look at silence as almost an agreement, meaning that when you don't have the leadership ability to speak up, or what I say, you don't have the gonads to speak up, because you're afraid of conflict. You should never be in a leadership position if you're afraid of conflict, because there's always going to be conflict when you're a leader. If you want things done a certain way, you are always going to have conflict, and you need to get comfortable with it. Big time. It needs to be handled properly, but conflict is conflict. I do not want that done that way. Do not drive my truck that way. Do not leave my building a mess like that. Wash your trucks twice a week. Make sure you take care of the customer when you're there by doing this, this, and this. You may have some conflict, but you've got to set the pace. Remember, we set the pace. So you got to speak up. If you don't, you're telling your entire team that you accept what happened and that you're too big of a wimp to get involved and fix it. That's exactly you don't want to hear that? That's okay. Again, not here to make friends. I'm here to challenge you to think different and grow your business like never before. So if you can't take a little conflict from me, so be it. Shut me off. Turn me off. Delete me. I'm okay with that, because I'm not afraid of conflict. I'm going to fix things, and if you don't like it, so be it. Like I said, I'm not here to make friends. If I make a friend, that's great. But I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And a lot of people I coach can't handle that. That's why they're constantly in the survival mode, even after 7 to 10 years in business, because they can't take constructive criticism, and they can't take that I didn't tell them the way they wanted to hear it. Okay? I tell people up front, if you don't have broad shoulders, I'm probably not for you, because I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And there's too many people that don't do that. I want that kind of coach. That's the only coach I've hired. That's the only kind of coach I've ever hired. Tell me what I want to hear, because if you don't tell me what I want to hear, I can't change. I'm wasting my money and time with you, pal. You better challenge me. And you don't have to be nice about it sometimes. Again, generations, oh my. Oh, that would just shake their world. It's worked well for me. I'm sorry. Again, I'm number one. Number one in my territory. Have extremely high profits, higher profits than most people in the nation. I'm probably in the top 1% in the nation. I don't do the most gross sales, but I guarantee our profits are 1% of HVAC plumbing companies in the nation. Prove it, Greg. Really? Do I need to? I know what they are. I have a lot of friends in the industry. Okay. So, number 3, grounded leaders attract success. And that's a fact. The most impressive leaders are not the loudest. They're just grounded. And however, they are not afraid to call anyone out, especially if it affects team morals and profits. They're not afraid. Again, go back to the conflict thing. Here's traits of grounded leaders. They respect their team. They stay prepared. They stay humble. And they don't make them do what they would not do. I just told someone this the other day, new supervisor. I said, listen, I have never made anyone do something I would not do. If I go into a house and it's rat infested, I'm not working there. I'm leaving. If they turn on the light and bugs fly out from the underneath the thermostat, I'm leaving. We're not working there. I don't make people do what I wouldn't do. Stability is rare in business today, and it's what people crave. Trust is built through daily consistency, not wonderful, nice speeches. Number 4, clarity of priorities equal better decisions. You see, clear values make decisions easier. You know what to say yes to. It makes it easy. You know what to say yes to. You confidently say no to what doesn't align with your company, with your morals, with your ethics, with your systems, and with your culture. and with your religion. I've walked away from high-dollar deals that did not align with my principles. I don't care how much money it is. If it doesn't align with who we are and what we do, we walk. It has paid off for us extremely well. Some people just chase that holy dollar and they'll do whatever it takes, and they'll work in places that they shouldn't be working in, that could affect their employees for their lifetime. Seriously, you guys figure out what I'm talking about, but we don't work in those kind of places. If you want to raise the bar, start behind the desk with you. And then start behind the scenes. Start raising your own bar, and everybody else's bar will be raised. And lastly, take inventory. Ask yourself, write this down. What do you truly value? What do you truly value? And do your actions match your priorities? If something's out of line, do you fix it? And you can't lead others well until you lead yourself better, because the most grounded, respected leaders lead from the inside out. There's a song that says change. It's a Christian song. Change me from the inside. Change my heart. Change the way I think. And I will change on the outside. Don't try to change the outside first. The outside doesn't matter. If you don't change the inside person, nothing's going to change on the outside. Don't just run a business. Raise the bar. Set the pace. Boy, that's powerful. So, before we wrap up, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe below. Please, liking shows me you agree, or you're behind me, or you're with me. It's just good to do. And it also, if you leave a comment, it helps our algorithms. Okay, that's important today. You can also support this podcast by rating and reviewing on iTunes or your preferred listening platform. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram or Facebook at The Greg McAfee Show. No spaces, no underscores. Be sure to tune in next week. We've got some good stuff coming up. Again, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. What you want to hear is not going to help you change or raise your bar. Or set the pace. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. If you like that, I'm for you. If you don't, I'm not for you. Okay? It's that simple. Thanks for listening. And as always, carry on. God bless. Make this day the best day of your life, because we're not promised tomorrow. I'll see you later.